Listen to me. Too many people want applause before they've even put in the work. Too many of you are chasing attention instead of chasing greatness. But real success doesn't start with noise. It starts in the dark, in the grind when nobody's clapping for you. You see, the most powerful things in life grow in silence. A seed doesn't scream when it becomes a tree. Muscles don't grow while you're talking. They grow while you're grinding, sweating and pushing through pain. And the most successful people, they're working when nobody's watching, so when the spotlight finally comes, the results speak louder than in words. Stop telling people your plans. Stop broadcasting every move. Stop posting about what you're about to do. Just do it. Because the truth is, results will always make more noise than announcements. Work hard in silence, because silence builds focus. Silence protects your energy. Silence gives you the space to grow without distraction. And when your time comes, people won't need an explanation. Your success will do the talking. So today, I dare you. Grind in the dark. Sweat in the shadows. Be patient in the process. The day will come when your results shine so bright that the world has no choice but to notice. And when that day comes, they'll call it overnight success. But you'll know the truth. It was years of hard work in silence. Silence is strength. In a world where everyone is shouting, posting, sharing, and constantly fighting for attention, real power lies in the ability to be still, to be focused, and to grind without needing anyone else to clap for you. Strength isn't about how loud you can be, how much recognition you get, or how much the world talks about you. Strength is about the ability to move forward with discipline and consistency even when no one is there to notice. Silence is where the real work happens, and silence is where the real growth takes place. When you plant a seed in the ground, there is no noise. There is no cheering, no applause, no spotlight. It's just darkness, dirt, and silence. Dirt and silence. Transformation happens. Roots begin to grow deep into the soil, building a foundation strong enough to support what is to come. Without that silent stage of growth, there would never be a tree, never be fruit, never be shade. The same is true for you. The times in your life when you feel unnoticed, overlooked, or invisible are not wasted moments. Those are the moments when your roots are growing. Those are the moments where your strength is being built. The problem most people face is that they cannot endure silence. They want recognition before they are ready. They want applause before they've earned it. They want to be celebrated without first being developed. But silence is the great test. If you cannot stand the silence, you cannot handle success. Because the truth is, noise doesn't make you strong. Applause doesn't make you disciplined. Attention doesn't make you consistent. Strength is formed when you can wake up day after day, show up for your goals, work on your craft, and grind without anyone knowing your name, without anyone patting you on the back, without anyone posting about you. That is where strength is born. Silence removes distractions. When you are not chasing attention, you can fully chase improvement. When you stop telling everyone what you are about to do, you can focus on actually doing. Talk can make you feel like you've already accomplished something, but silence forces you to measure yourself by results, not by words. And that's why silence builds strength. It strips away the comfort of recognition and leaves only the raw reality of effort and consistency. You cannot fake discipline in silence. Either you're putting in the work or you're not. Either you're building or you're lying to yourself. Think about athletes. Everyone sees the championship game. Everyone sees the highlight reel. Everyone sees the trophies. But the true strength was built in the silent practices when nobody was watching. It was built in the off season, in the weight room, on the track at 5 in the morning when no cameras were rolling. That is why the best athletes grind in silence, because they know that growth happens there. Muscles don't grow on the stage, they grow on the stage. They grow under the pressure of silent repetition, sweat, and pain when nobody else is around. The same applies to your life. Your business, your career, your education, your health, your relationships. They all demand silent work before the results ever appear. You cannot expect people to celebrate a body you haven't built, a career you haven't earned, or a dream you haven't sacrificed for. If you can't handle being invisible while you're building, you won't survive being visible when you finally make it. That's why silence is a blessing. It is the stage where you can make mistakes, learn, adjust, grow, and strengthen without the pressure of the crowd. Silence also teaches resilience. When nobody notices what you are doing and keep going anyway, that is resilience. When nobody claps for your progress, but you still get up tomorrow and push harder, that is resilient. When nobody seems to care about your sacrifices, and yet you continue to sacrifice, that is resilience. And resilience is what separates the ones who dream from the ones who achieve. Because the truth is, most people quit not because they lack talent, not because they lacked opportunity, but because they couldn't endure the silence. They couldn't stay strong when the world wasn't paying attention. They couldn't see the value in growth that wasn't immediately visible. Growth is invisible before it becomes obvious. A tree grows underground long before it ever stretches toward the sky. A baby develops in the womb in silence before anyone sees the child. The strongest foundations are always laid in the unseen places. And that's why silence is strength. It is in silence that you are being prepared for what's coming. It is in silence that you are learning the discipline you will need when the world finally does see you. If you skip silence, you skip strength. And if you skip strength, you will crumble when the spotlight finally comes. Most people think silence means weakness because they equate volume with value. They think if you're not being talked about, if you're not posting every move, if you're not constantly visible, you must not be doing anything. But the strongest ones are often the quietest ones. They don't need to announce every move because they are too busy making moves. They don't need validation because their validation comes from their own progress. They don't need attention because their attention is locked onto their mission. That is true strength. To not depend on the noise of the world, but to keep moving with a fire that only you can see. The question you must ask yourself is simple. Can you handle the silence? Can you handle not being noticed, not being celebrated, not being recognized, and still show up every day with the same intensity? Can you handle people doubting you, ignoring you, overlooking you, and still keep building as if you already know the outcome? Because if you can handle the silence, you are strong. If you can handle the silence, you are unstoppable. If you can handle the silence, one day your results will make so much noise that nobody will be able to ignore you. That's the irony of silence. If you respect it, if you embrace it, if you work in it, won't last forever. The time will come when your growth becomes visible, when your results become undeniable, when the world can no longer overlook you. And when that moment comes, people will call it sudden success, overnight success, instant greatness. But you will know the truth. You will know that it wasn't overnight. It was years of silent work. It was hours of unnoticed sacrifice. It was countless moments of strength built in silence. So embrace the silence. Stop running from it. Stop despising it. Stop thinking it's a curse. Silence is your greatest advantage. It's where you build without pressure, where you grow without distraction, where you strengthen yourself for the moment when the noise finally comes. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power. And the ones who learn to master silence will always come out stronger, more focused, more disciplined, and more unshakable than the ones who can't survive it. Silence is strength because it proves to you and to the world that you don't need to be seen to grow. You don't need to be celebrated to succeed. And you don't need applause to keep moving forward. Your power comes from within, not from the noise around you. Growth happens in the dark, and when the light finally shines, it will reveal the strength that silence gave you. Stop announcing, start executing. Too many people lose the battle before it even begins because they spend all their energy talking about what they are going to do instead of actually doing. They tell their friends, they post on social media, they share every detail of their plan, and they feel good about it because for a moment, it sounds like progress. But talking is not progress. Announcements are not progress. The world doesn't change because you said you were going to do something. The world only changes when you actually execute. There is a dangerous trap in announcing your dreams too early. The moment you start telling people what you are going to do, you get a little hit of satisfaction. It feels like you've already taken a step forward. People might say, wow, that's amazing or good for you, and you feel encouraged. But in reality, done anything yet. You haven't sacrificed, you haven't suffered, you haven't worked. All you've done is talk. And that little bit of validation you get from announcing can make you comfortable enough to stop pushing. It tricks your mind into thinking you've already achieved something when you're still at the starting line. The truth is, results speak louder than any announcement ever could. You don't have to tell the world you're working hard if you really are working hard, because sooner or later your results will show. People respect execution, not promises. Promises are cheap. Anyone can say they're going to start a business. Anyone can say they're going to lose weight. Anyone can say they're going to be successful. But the ones who execute are the ones who stand out. Because execution is rare. Most people never follow through. Most people stop at the announcement stage. That's why if you discipline yourself to stop announcing and start executing, you will separate yourself immediately. Execution doesn't need applause. Execution doesn't need validation. Execution only requires commitment. Every time you feel the urge to tell someone about your plan, ask yourself if you're telling them because you need their approval or because you're actually about to act on it. If you're not acting, then you're just seeking validation, and that weakens you. If you really believe in what you're doing, you don't need anyone else to clap for you in advance. You don't need to convince anyone. Just do it and let the results speak on your behalf. Think about it like this. If a builder says, I'm going to build the tallest building in the city, people might listen for a moment. Some might cheer, some might doubt, but nothing changes. But if the builder stays silent, gathers materials, works day after day, and then suddenly there's a massive skyscraper standing tall, nobody needs an announcement. The building itself is the announcement. The execution is the proof. That's what you need to understand. Proof always beats promises. The world is full of talkers, people who say they're about to do something big, but months later they're still in the same place, still making excuses, still planning instead of executing. Don't be one of them. Don't let your dreams die in your mouth before they ever reach your hands. Turn your energy inward. Use that time you spend telling people about your vision to actually work on your vision. Every hour you spend talking about it could be an hour spent executing. Every time you seek validation, you could be seeking progress. There is also power in moving in silence. When you stop announcing everything, you keep people guessing. They don't know what you're building. They don't know how far you've come. They don't know what's next. That mystery gives you power because people can't stop what they can't see. When you announce too early, you invite doubt, negativity, and distraction. People will criticize your plan, discourage you, or even copy your idea. But when you execute silently, nobody can touch you. They only see the finished product. And by then, it's too late to stop you. Execution is what builds confidence. Every small action you take builds momentum. You don't get confidence from talking about what you'll do. You get confidence from keeping promises to yourself. If you say you're going to wake up early and you actually do it, that builds confidence. If you say you're going to go to the gym and you actually go, that builds confidence. If you say you're going to work on your business every night and you follow through, that builds confidence. That's how execution becomes a habit. And once it's a habit, success becomes inevitable. Stop caring about what people think of your plans. Some of you don't execute because you're too worried about people's opinions. You're waiting for everyone to approve before you take action. Nobody claps for it. Nobody notices it. Nobody even remembers it's there. Yet in that silent hidden place, the most important work is happening. Roots are growing deep. Strength is being built and a foundation is being laid that will one day support everything above the ground. The same truth applies to your life. Before you ever shine, before the world ever recognizes you, before your results are visible, you must go through a season of underground growth. This underground season is uncomfortable. It feels lonely. It feels like nobody sees your effort. Nobody understands your sacrifice. Nobody appreciates your grind. And that's exactly why so many people give up too soon. They bury the seed, expect instant growth, and when nothing shows up above the ground right away, they think something went wrong. But nothing went wrong. Growth is invisible before it is visible. Progress starts beneath the surface, in the hidden places nobody sees. You cannot skip that stage. If you try to, your growth will never last. Think about the seed again. If it didn't grow roots underground, the first strong wind would knock it over. If it didn't spend time hidden in the soil, it would never have the strength to break through the surface. That silent stage isn't wasted time. It's the most important time. It's the most important time. And in your life, the same principle applies. Every late night you study. Every early morning you wake up to work. Every sacrifice you make that nobody applauds as you growing underground. It may not look like success yet, but those invisible roots are preparing you for a visible harvest. The danger comes when people confuse visibility with value. Just because you can't see the growth doesn't mean it isn't happening. Just because nobody is praising you yet doesn't mean you aren't making progress. Growth takes time. Roots don't appear instantly. You can't rush nature, and you can't rush the process of becoming great. If you trust the process, if you stay consistent while you're underground, eventually the breakthrough comes. But if you dig up the seed because you're impatient, if you quit before the roots have a chance to develop, you'll never see the tree. Your underground season is also your protection. The soil shields the seed from the outside world until it's strong enough to handle it. If the seed were exposed too early, it would die. Likewise, sometimes you're hidden for your own good. You're not being overlooked, you're being protected. If the spotlight found you too soon, you wouldn't be ready. If success arrived before you were strong enough to carry it, it would crush you. That's why your underground season matters. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Seeds also need pressure to grow. Buried under the soil, the weight of the dirt pushes down and the seed has to fight its way upward. That resistance is what makes it stronger. In your life, the struggles, the challenges, the obstacles you face while you're underground are not there to destroy you. They're there to develop you. Every time you feel pressure, every time you feel like you're being weighed down, remember the seed. That pressure is shaping you, strengthening you, building your resilience. Without pressure, the seed would never break open and release life. Without pressure, you will never unlock your full potential. The underground season also teaches you patience. In a world obsessed with instant results, patience has become rare. Everyone wants to see the harvest without planting the seed, without watering the soil, without waiting through the quiet seasons. But greatness cannot be microwaved. Success cannot be rushed. Just like nature, your growth takes time. You cannot plant today and expect fruit tomorrow. You must endure the waiting, the watering, the silent days where it feels like nothing is happening. Because in truth, everything is happening. It just hasn't surfaced yet. When the seed finally breaks through the ground, when the first green stem appears, that is not the beginning of growth. It is the result of everything that already happened underground. People will see that small sprout and say, wow, look, it just grew overnight. But you grew overnight. But you know the truth. It wasn't overnight. It was weeks, months, maybe even years of unseen growth. And that is exactly how success works. People will call you an overnight success, but you'll know the late nights, the sacrifices, the discipline, the pain and the pressure you endured underground that nobody ever saw. This is why you must stop comparing your journey to someone else's. You may be in your underground season while they're in their visible season. You may be building roots while they're bearing fruit. That doesn't mean you're behind. It just means you're at a different stage. Every tree grows at its own pace. Some seeds take longer to break the surface, but when they do, they stand taller and stronger because of the time they spent underground. Trust your own timing. Don't rush it. Don't envy someone else's harvest when you haven't even let your roots grow. The underground season also tests your commitment. It's easy to work hard when everyone is watching, when you're getting praise, when people are cheering you on. But can you still work when nobody notices? Can you still grind when nobody thanks you? Can you still give your best when it feels like your best is invisible? That's the test. If you can endure the silence, if you can keep watering your seed even when nothing breaks through the soil, you've proven that your commitment is real. That commitment will sustain you when the world finally does notice because you didn't build your strength on applause. You built it on discipline. Seeds grow underground first, and that means success requires faith. You have to believe in what you cannot see. You have to trust that your effort will eventually pay off, even when there is no visible evidence yet. Faith is waking up every day, putting in the work, and knowing that one day the harvest will come. Faith is watering the soil even when it looks dry, believing that life is still happening beneath the surface. Without that kind of faith, you'll quit too soon. With it, you'll stay strong until your season of visibility arrives. Never despise your underground season. Never curse the dirt you're buried in. The dirt is not your enemy. It's your environment for growth. Without the dirt, the seed cannot transform. Without the silence, you cannot develop. Without the unseen process, there can be no visible results. Every day you remain committed in the dark is another day your roots grow deeper. And the deeper your roots, the higher you can grow. One day when the harvest finally comes, people will see the tree, the fruit, the success. They will admire the visible, but you will know the invisible story. You will know the pain, the patience, the faith, the discipline, and the resilience it took to survive the underground season. And that knowledge will make your success even sweeter because you didn't just grow, you endured. You didn't just rise, you rooted. You didn't just shine, you survived the silence. Seeds grow underground first, and so must you. When you decide to work hard in silence, one of the most powerful shifts that happens is the way you focus on your craft without the distractions of outside noise. Too often, people spend their energy telling others what they're about to do, what they plan to achieve, or how big their dreams are. But when the energy is poured into talking, there's little left for the actual execution. Silence, in this sense, becomes a tool for focus. It shields you from the unnecessary input of others and allows you to channel every ounce of effort into refining your skills, strengthening your mindset, and moving forward on your goals without interruption. It's about choosing growth over validation, discipline over recognition, and mastery over applause. When you work on yourself in silence, you are essentially building the foundation of a skyscraper underground. No one sees the months or years of digging, laying concrete and reinforcing steel beams, but eventually the building rises tall, strong, and undeniable. The same is true for your journey. Your silence protects the vulnerable process of growth until it's ready to stand firm in the world. Think about how distractions pull people away from greatness. A person who constantly seeks acknowledgement at every step ends up losing sight of the work that creates results. They might feel momentary validation when others applaud their effort, but validation without execution is hollow. Silence, on the other hand, forces you to live with yourself, to measure your progress not by external approval, but by internal growth. It sharpens your concentration and allows you to engage deeply with your craft. A writer who spends more time posting about writing than actually writing will never finish a masterpiece. A student who brags about studying all night, but spends half the time scrolling through social media is not truly focused. But the one who stays silent, buried in their books, quietly absorbing knowledge, is the one who rises to the top when the results are revealed. Silence strips away the fluff and makes you confront the truth of your effort. When you work in silence, you give yourself the freedom to experiment and fail without judgment. Many people avoid trying new things because they're afraid of being criticized. They fear failure being seen. But when you keep your goals and efforts to yourself, you protect the fragile process of trial and error. You can stumble, adjust, and refine without the world watching and waiting to criticize. This kind of protected space allows you to take bolder risks because you are not performing for anyone else. You are not bound by the expectations of others, only by your own standards of growth. That freedom to fail privately is what accelerates mastery. Behind closed doors, countless mistakes can be made and learned from, so that when you do present your results, they are polished, strong, and undeniable. Silence is not just about hiding, it's about creating a safe space for yourself to develop without the pressure of external eye. There's also a psychological strength that comes from silence. When you do not constantly seek validation, you begin to validate yourself. Instead of waiting for others to clap, you clap for yourself every time you make progress. You learn to be proud of the unseen victories, waking up early to train, finishing a difficult project, mastering a small skill that no one knows about yet. These private wins stack up inside of you, building confidence that does not rely on applause. And when confidence comes from within, it's unshakable. External praise can disappear in an instant, but internal pride remains solid. People who work in silence become anchored individuals. They know who they are, they know what they have put in, and they are not shaken by outside opinions. That kind of strength cannot be faked. It must be built in the quiet hours when no one is watching. Silence also gives you the power of surprise. When you do not announce your every move, you catch people off guard with your progress. It is like a seed planted deep in the ground. No one notices it at first, but then one day it breaks through the soil, fully alive and undeniable. Imagine someone who silently dedicates months to fitness. They do not post every workout. They do not brag about their diet. They simply work in silence. Then one day they walk into a room transformed, and the shock on people's faces speaks louder than any announcement ever could. That shock is the power of silence. It makes your results scream without you saying a word. The same applies in business, academics, or personal growth. When you let your success reveal itself, the impact is greater than if you have been narrating your journey all along. Focusing on your craft in silence also means that your relationship with your work deepens. Instead of rushing to show results, you start to value the process itself. You learn to enjoy the hours of practice, the grind, the late nights, the early mornings. You find fulfillment in the act of building, not just in the recognition of the finished product. This shift in mindset is what separates true masters from amateurs. Amateurs crave quick applause. Masters crave growth. Silence forces you to sit with your work, to respect it, and to give it the attention it deserves. When you focus on your craft without the need for external acknowledgement, you create work that is authentic, durable, and impactful. Furthermore, silence protects you from unnecessary negativity. The moment you announce your goals, you invite opinions. Some supportive, some discouraging, and some outright toxic. People may doubt you, laugh at you, or try to talk you out of your dreams. Not because your dreams are impossible, but because they project their own limitations onto you. When you keep silent, you shield yourself from that noise. You protect your vision from being clouded by other people's doubts. Instead of wasting energy fighting negativity, you use all your strength to keep building. By the time the world sees what you have done, it is too late for their negativity to matter. The work is already complete, and no opinion can undo it. Silence is a shield that protects your goals until they are strong enough to stand on their own. Working in silence is not about being secretive out of fear. It is about being strategic out of wisdom. You understand that time spent explaining yourself could be time spent improving yourself. You realize that results speak a language. Louder results speak a language louder and clearer than word. A degree, a promotion, a published book, a thriving business. These outcomes shout without you ever needing to announce your effort. And when people finally ask, how did you do it? The satisfaction is even greater because you know the countless unseen hours of focus, sacrifice, and discipline. Ultimately, working in silence and focusing on your craft is about respect. Respect for your dream, respect for your effort, and respect for the process. You do not cheapen your journey by broadcasting half-finished steps for approval. You honor your vision by protecting it, by nurturing it, and by giving it the full attention it deserves. And in time, the silence will break, not with noise, but with undeniable results that make the world stop and take notice. The ones who laugh, doubted, or ignored will have no choice but to acknowledge the greatness that emerged from the quiet. That is the power of focusing on your craft in silence. It makes your success undeniable and your journey unshakable. When you dedicate yourself to working hard in silence, one of the most powerful outcomes is that your results will eventually speak louder than any words you could have ever said. Too many people rely on promises, declarations, and social announcements to make themselves feel as though progress is being made, when in reality, progress only comes through consistent action. The beauty of results is that they cannot be faked. You can talk about your plans all you want, but when the time comes, it is the tangible evidence of your effort that reveals the truth. Results expose your discipline, your sacrifices, and your commitment without you needing to open your mouth. They are undeniable proof that you put in the work day after day when no one was watching. This is why it is so important to trust the process and focus on execution instead of conversation. While words fade quickly, results leave a lasting impact. Think about athletes. Some talk endlessly about how great they are going to be, how hard they are training, and how many championships they will win. Others stay quiet, grind in silence, and let the scoreboard do the talking. At the end of the game, it does not matter what was said before the whistle blew. It only matters who performed. The same principle applies to every aspect of life. In academics, careers, business, or personal growth, it is your results that stand as the ultimate measure. The degree you earn, the business you build, the skills you develop, the transformation you achieve. These outcomes have a voice of their own, a voice louder than any declaration you could have made. Results are irrefutable. They shut down doubt, silence criticism, and command respect without argument. There is also a timelessness to results that words cannot match. When you talk, people may listen for a moment and then forget what you said. But when you produce results, they remain visible, measurable, and unforgettable. Imagine someone talking about writing a book for years compared to someone who silently works until the book is published. The difference is monumental. The published author has a physical product that will exist long after the words of intention have faded. That book becomes evidence of perseverance and dedication. Results create legacy. They do not disappear when the conversation ends. They endure and continue to tell your story long after the work is done. Another reason results are so powerful is that they shift the balance of credibility. When you rely on words, people may doubt you, question you, or even dismiss you. But when you bring results to the table, doubt evaporates. No one can argue with proof. If you say you are disciplined, and people may shrug. But if you wake up every day at 5 a.m. and years later, the results of that discipline show in your fitness, your business, or your personal growth, people cannot deny it. Words leave room for debate, but results close the argument. They establish credibility in a way that talking never could. You no longer have to convince anyone of who you are or what you are capable of. Your results do that for you. Results also inspire in a deeper way than words ever can. Words may motivate someone momentarily, but results show them what is possible. When someone sees you transform your life, not because you said you would, but because you actually did, it gives them hope that they can too. Results carry an authenticity that words lack. They demonstrate that the principles you speak of actually work when applied. A fitness trainer who talks about discipline but is out of shape will not inspire as much as someone who has lived that discipline and carries the evidence in their body. A leader who talks about success but has nothing to show, for it cannot inspire as much as someone who has built success from the ground up. Results are living proof of possibility, and that proof is what truly moves people to believe. The power of results is magnified when you understand how they silence critics. Every person who dares to dream will encounter doubters. People who laugh, discourage, or question whether the dream is realistic. If you respond with words, you may find yourself locked in endless debates, trying to convince them of your vision. But when you focus on your work and produce results, you no longer need to respond. The critics fall silent because there is nothing left for them to say. You become undeniable. Success itself becomes the answer to every doubt and the counter to every negative word spoken against you. The moment you achieve what others said you could not, their opinions become irrelevant. That is the quiet power of letting results speak. They shut down the noise without you ever needing to raise your voice. Furthermore, results create opportunities in ways that words cannot. Talking about your goals might get attention, but delivering results gets respect, recognition, and doors open. Employers hire based on results, not promises. Investors fund based on results, not potential loan. Partners collaborate based on demonstrated ability, not declarations of ambition. Results position you in a space where people take you seriously, where opportunities flow towards you because you have shown that you can deliver. Words can create excitement, but results create trust. Trust is what builds careers, businesses, and relationships. When you become known as someone whose actions match their ambitions, people begin to seek you out, and success multiplies. Results also shape your self-image in a way words never could. Talking about your plans may make you feel good temporarily, but deep down, you know whether or not you are executing. This disconnect can erode confidence. On the other hand, when you put in the work and see results, you build self-respect. You start to believe in yourself more deeply because you have evidence of your discipline and capability. Every result, no matter how small, is proof to yourself that you can achieve what you set your mind to. This builds momentum. You become addicted to execution because you see firsthand how it transforms your life. Instead of relying on external praise, you gain confidence from the undeniable truth of your results. It's also important to recognize that results compound over time. A single word may fade quickly, but a single result can lead to another and another, creating a chain reaction. For example, a student who studies diligently and earns top grades gains opportunities for scholarships, internships, and career. Each result opens the door to the next. The same is true in fitness, business, or personal development. Results accumulate, and as they do, they create a trajectory that words could never create on their own. This is why it is so important to keep your head down, keep working, and allow your results to stack up. In time, they will create a momentum that becomes unstoppable. Ultimately, the message is simple. Let your results speak for you. They are the most powerful language in the world of achievement. They do not require translation, explanation, or defense. They are universal. A gold medal, a diploma, a thriving business, a transformed body, a meaningful legacy. These results are understood across cultures and generations. They tell your story in a way words cannot. They show not just what you dreamed of, but what you did. They prove that your work was real, your sacrifices mattered, and your vision was worth it. And when your results stand tall, you do not need to announce them. The world will see and the world will know. Your silence combined with your relentless effort will make your results speak louder than anything you could have ever said. The sixth keynote about working hard in silence is the idea that discipline is the bridge between your goals and your results. And it is often built and tested in the quiet moments when no one is watching. Many people talk about ambition, about their big dreams and the things they want to accomplish, but very few are willing to consistently practice the discipline required to bring those dreams into reality. Discipline is not glamorous. It does not come with applause or instant recognition. It is built in the small daily decisions you make. Choosing to wake up earlier than your comfort wants you to. Choosing to study when you'd rather scroll. Choosing to save when you'd rather spend. Choosing to train when you'd rather spend. Choose to train when you'd rather rest. Every act of discipline feels small, almost invisible at the moment. Over time, these choices accumulate and transform into results that cannot be denied. Working in silence is about strengthening this discipline, because when you are not looking for approval or applause, you are left with nothing but your commitment to the work itself. Discipline thrives in silence because there are no distractions pulling you away from the task. When you announce your goals, you often create pressure to prove yourself, and that pressure can become more about the performance than the progress. But when you stay quiet, you free yourself to focus only on the actions that matter. Silence forces you to look in the mirror and ask, am I really doing what I said I would do? Am I keeping the promises I made to myself? It's easy to say you will change your life when others are watching. It's much harder to stick to it when the room is empty, the applause is gone, and all that remains is a temptation to quit. That's why true discipline is cultivated in solitude. The moments when no one is around are the very moments that shape you into the person capable of achieving extraordinary things. Think of an athlete who wakes up at 4 a.m. to train. No cameras, no cheering crowd, no motivational speech being broadcast. Just them, their shoes, the track, and their commitment. Those hours repeated day after day after day are what make them champions. The world only sees the race, the medal, or the trophy, but the true work happens in the silence of discipline. In the same way, students who quietly put in hours of study, entrepreneurs who tirelessly build their business plans, and artists who practice their craft away from the spotlight are all practicing discipline that will eventually lead to results. Discipline is invisible until it's not. It looks like sacrifice, like boring routines, like repetition. But those routines are what transform into excellence when the time comes to showcase results. One of the most important truths about discipline is that it is not about motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It is temporary, fleeting, and often dependent on emotion. Discipline, however, is a choice you make regardless of how you feel. When you commit to discipline, you remove the option of negotiation with yourself. You stop asking, do I feel like doing this today? And instead remind yourself, this is what I do every day, whether I feel like it or not. Silence helps build this muscle because there is no external force hyping you up or pushing you forward. It's just you and the work. And when you show up for yourself consistently, even when it's hard, you create unshakable inner strength. That strength cannot be taken from you because it wasn't built on applause. It was built on grit. Discipline also means being willing to delay gratification. This is one of the hardest lessons people struggle with because the world constantly pushes instant rewards. But silence allows you to resist the temptation of showing off half-baked results for temporary praise. Teaches you to hold back, to wait until the real fruits of your labor have ripened. This patience is at the heart of discipline. You don't need recognition today because you know recognition tomorrow will be 10 times greater if you stay the course. Think of a farmer planting seeds. They don't dig them up the next day to show others. They water them quietly, consistently, and wait for the harvest. Your dreams work the same way. Discipline is the daily watering, the care, the commitment. The harvest is the undeniable success that grows in its own time. Another dimension of discipline is sacrifice. To gain something meaningful, you must give up something lesser. Discipline demands you say no to distractions, no to unhealthy habits, no to the easy path that promises comfort but steals progress. No to late nights of wasting time. So you can say yes to early mornings of productivity. It's saying no to gossip so you can say yes to growth. It's saying no to instant pleasure so you can say yes to long-term success. These sacrifices are rarely applauded because from the outside they look like you're missing out. But in silence, you know you are trading short-term comfort for long-term greatness. And when the results finally come, the sacrifices make sense. They were never losses, only investments. Discipline in silence also teaches resilience. When you are working alone, there will be moments of failure, frustration, and doubt. Without the cheers of others, it can feel lonely, even hopeless at times. But it is in these very moments that resilience is forged. You learn to push through setbacks not because someone told you to, but because you refuse to quit on yourself. Each time you fall and get back up quietly, you strengthen your ability to endure. This resilience becomes a shield against challenges later in life. When bigger obstacles come, you are prepared because you've already proven to yourself in silence that you can keep going. That inner proof is more powerful than any external validation. There is also a profound peace that comes with disciplined silence. When you are committed to your goals and consistently working on them without noise, you avoid the chaos of comparison. You are not distracted by what others are saying, doing, or achieving. Your only competition is the version of yourself you were yesterday. This focus brings clarity. Instead of scattering your energy in multiple directions, you direct it fully toward the path you have chosen. This level of focus is rare, but it is what separates extraordinary achievers from the average. When you are disciplined in silence, you conserve your energy for progress, not performance. Over time, disciplined silence transforms you into a person who no longer needs to talk about potential because you embody it. You no longer feel the need to broadcast every move because your results speak for you. This transformation is gradual and invisible to others at first, but undeniable when revealed. You become the kind of person whose presence carries weight because people can sense the discipline behind your achievements. And the best part is, you know deep down that you earned every bit of it, not through luck, not through noise, but through relentless, quiet effort. Ultimately, discipline built in silence becomes your superpower. It gives you the ability to outlast those who are louder but less consistent. It gives you the patience to wait while others quit. It gives you the strength to keep going when motivation dies. And when the results finally arrive, they are more powerful because they were born from discipline, not taught. Discipline is the secret ingredient that turns dreams into reality, and silence is the environment where it grows strongest. When you master discipline in silence, there's nothing you cannot achieve because you've already proven to yourself that you have the consistency, patience, and resilience to see your goals through. That is what makes discipline the bridge and silence the ground that is built on, a bridge strong enough to carry you from where you are now to the greatness you were meant to reach. One of the greatest truths about working hard in silence is that the journey you take, the struggles you endure, and the resilience you build will ultimately shape you into a stronger, wiser, and more unshakable person. Many people set goals with their eyes fixed only on the outcome, believing that success is measured solely by what they achieve. But the deeper truth is that success is not just about the destination. It is about who you become along the way. The challenges, sacrifices, and quiet battles you face while working in silence are not obstacles to your growth. They are the very tools that mold you into someone capable of sustaining greatness. The process is not meant to break you, even though it often feels that way. It's meant to build you. Every silent night of discipline, every unnoticed sacrifice, and every private moment of pushing through doubt creates within you a version of yourself that is stronger than the one who began the journey. Struggles have a way of exposing weakness, but they also create opportunities for strength. When you face setbacks, you come face to face with the parts of yourself that's fragile, inconsistent, or afraid. Many people run from this confrontation, choosing to distract themselves with noise, excuses, or external validation. But those who stay in the silence, who confront their struggles head on, discover a deeper level of resilience. They learn that weakness is not a permanent state. It is a call to grow. With every failure you endure and every challenge you overcome, you build emotional and mental muscles that cannot be developed any other way. Just as physical muscles require resistance to grow stronger, your character requires resistance in the form of struggle to reach its full potential. The silent journey of hard work provides that resistance daily. And though it may feel like hardship, it is actually transformation in disguise. Resilience, the ability to keep moving forward despite adversity, is not built in moments of comfort. It is built in moments when you feel like quitting but choose to continue. It is built in the quiet hours when no one is cheering you on, when there's no applause to push you forward, and when the only thing keeping you going is your determination. Every time you rise from a setback, you add another layer to your resilience. Over time, this resilience becomes your most valuable asset, because life will always bring challenge. Success is never a straight line. There will be delays, failures, criticism, and unexpected obstacles. Those who lack resilience break under the weight of these challenges, but those who have built resilience in silence bend without breaking. They adapt, adjust, and keep moving forward. No matter how heavy the burden, the journey also shapes your perspective. In the beginning, you may see struggles as punishments, as unfair barriers between you and your dream. But as you endure, you begin to realize that the struggles are teachers. They show you what you are made of. They teach you patience, humility, perseverance, and adaptability. They reveal to you that success is not instant, and that shortcuts do not lead to lasting achievement. Each challenge adds wisdom, and with wisdom comes maturity. You begin to see that every setback had a lesson, every sacrifice had a purpose, and every period of silence was preparing you for the moment when your results would finally speak. This shift in perspective is powerful because it allows you to embrace the journey instead of resenting it. You start to understand that the struggles you once wished away were actually sculpting you into the person capable of carrying the weight of success. Silence plays a critical role in this transformation because it removes the distractions that often mask the lessons hidden in struggle. When you are surrounded by noise, opinions, comparisons, external pressures, it is easy to miss the growth happening within you. Silence forces you to sit with yourself, to face your weaknesses, and to recognize your progress without the filter of outside influence. It teaches you self-awareness, which is a key component of strength. You learn to evaluate yourself honestly, to acknowledge your mistakes without shame, and to celebrate your small victories without boasting. This kind of self-awareness creates an unshakable foundation for growth. It ensures that when success finally comes, you are grounded enough to handle it with humility and wisdom rather than arrogance or insecurity. The person you become through silent struggle is also someone who learns to rely on inner strength rather than external validation. When you are working hard without applause, you realize that your worth is not defined by how many people notice your effort. It is defined by your ability to stay true to your vision, regardless of who is watching. This independence from external approval is one of the most liberating aspects of growth. It allows you to move confidently even when others doubt you. It keeps you consistent even when no one is paying attention. And ensures that your success, when it comes, is authentic and sustainable because it was built on your commitment, not on the fleeting approval of others. Another way the journey shapes you is by teaching you discipline and consistency. These are not glamorous traits, but they are the bedrock of lasting success. The process of showing up day after day, even when progress feels slow or invisible, teaches you that consistency matters more than intensity. Anyone can work hard for a short burst of time, But true achievers are those who keep going long after the excitement has faded. This habit of consistency is what separates dreamers from doers. And as you practice it in silence, it becomes part of your identity. You stop seeing discipline as a burden and start seeing it as freedom. The freedom to take control of your destiny, the freedom to create results, and the freedom to know that your future is in your hand. Perhaps the most profound change the journey brings is the transformation of your character. Success is not just about what you have. It is about who you are. Without the struggles, you might reach your goals, but lack the wisdom to sustain them. Without the resilience, you might achieve success, but crumble at the first sign of adversity. The silent journey ensures that you do not just achieve your goals, but also develop the character required to protect and multiply them. You become someone who is patient, disciplined, humble, and strong. You become someone who understands sacrifice, who values progress over perfection, and who is not shaken by setbacks. This kind of person does not just achieve success once. They continue to achieve it again and again because they have become success itself, not just someone who experienced it temporarily. Finally, the journey of silent struggle gives you a story worth telling. When you look back, you will not just see the results. You will see the nights you almost gave up but did. The mornings you dragged yourself out of bed despite exhaustion. The sacrifices you made when no one understood, and the tears you shed in private. These moments, though painful, will become the most meaningful parts of your journey because they will remind you of the strength you found within yourself. They will remind you that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. And they will inspire others, not because you talked about your struggles, but because you lived through them and emerged stronger. The beauty of working hard in silence is that the journey becomes your greatest teacher. It shapes you, molds you, and strengthens you in ways that comfort never could. You may have started with a goal in mind, but along the way, you discover that the true reward is not just achieving that goal. It is becoming the kind of person who can achieve any goal. Struggles, resilience, and growth are not side effects of the journey. They are the very essence of it. And when you embrace them fully, you realize that the silent path, though lonely at times, is the most powerful path of all, because it leads not only to success, but also to transformation. Grind now, shine later. That phrase may sound simple, but the depth of its meaning stretches far beyond a motivational quote. Grinding now means you are willing to embrace the discomfort, the sacrifices, the discipline, and the unrecognized hours of effort that most people avoid. Shining later means you are setting yourself up for rewards, recognition, and fulfillment that can only come from a foundation of consistent, unseen work. Too often, people want the shine without the grind. They want the applause without the rehearsal, the victory without the training, the success without the sacrifice. But life doesn't work like that. Life only gives its crown to those who were willing to bleed for it when no one was paying attention. Grinding now means saying no to distractions that tempt you every single day. It means shutting off the television when your favorite show is on, because your dreams are more important than entertainment. It means resisting the urge to scroll endlessly on your phone, because deep inside, you know that wasted hours turn into wasted years. It means waking up early or staying up late. Not because you enjoy exhaustion, but because you are committed to doing whatever it takes to build the life you envision. The grind is lonely. The grind is quiet. The grind is often misunderstood. People will question why you're working so hard when they don't see immediate results. They'll ask why you're sacrificing weekends, social gatherings, or sleep for something they can't understand. But that's because the grind belongs to you. The shine later will belong to you too. But for now, the grind is your responsibility. Shining later doesn't just mean fame or fortune. It means living in the harvest of what you planted. It's the freedom that comes when the world finally sees what you've been building in silence. It's the satisfaction of looking back at sleepless nights and realizing they created the foundation of your success. The shine later is the confidence you walk with because you know you earned everything you have. You don't owe anyone an explanation because your results are visible proof. The grind now, shine later mindset separates the dreamers from the doers. Dreamers want shine today. Doers are willing to delay gratification. They know that the bigger the dream, the longer and harder the grind. When you grind now, you are investing in your future self. Every choice you make today will be felt by the version of you that wakes up 5 years from now. Imagine two versions of yourself in the future. One who sacrificed, stayed consistent, and endured the grind. And another who wasted time, avoided discomfort, and looked for shortcuts. Which version of you will thank you? Which version of you will resent you? Grinding now ensures that the future version of yourself looks back with gratitude instead of regret. Grinding now also teaches resilience. Every obstacle you face, every failure, every rejection becomes part of your training. While others quit when it gets hard, you learn to push hard. While others complain about the weight of responsibility, you learn to carry it. While others retreat at the first sign of difficulty, you learn to adapt and overcome. That resilience becomes part of your character, and character is what sustains you when you finally reach the shine. Because here's the truth, shining later without character built during the grind leads to quick collapse. The grind doesn't just prepare you for the destination. It prepares you to stay there. Think about an athlete preparing for the championship. The world only sees the trophy lift, the celebration, the bright lights. They don't see the 5 a.m. practices, the hours in the weight room, the injuries, the days of pain, and the nights of sacrifice. But without those hidden hours of grind, the shine would never exist. Life works the same way. People may only see the final product, the business you built, the financial freedom you achieved, the respect you earned. But what they won't see is the grind, the long days, the sacrifices, the moments you almost gave up, but did. The grind is invisible to others, but it's the most real part of success. Shining later also means proving the doubters wrong without saying a word. While they laugh at your hustle, while they mock your sacrifice, while they tell you it's impossible, you keep grinding. And then one day the results become undeniable. The same people who doubted you will come asking how you did it. The same ones who told you to slow down will marvel at your speed. That's what it means to shine later. It's not about revenge. It's about the sweet justice of letting your work speak for itself. The grind also demands patience. Too many people quit halfway because they can't endure the waiting. They want instant results, instant recognition, instant shine. But the grind is a test of patience. It asks you, can you keep going when you don't see progress? It challenges you. Will you trust the process even when nothing seems to be changing? Those who endure the grind without visible rewards are the ones who eventually shine the brightest. The grind is where your faith in yourself is tested. It's where you learn whether your dreams are just words or if they truly run through your veins. Grinding now also requires vision. You can't endure sacrifice without a clear picture of what you're working toward. That vision fuels your effort when your body is tired and your mind is screaming to quit. Vision is the reminder that pain of the grind is temporary, but the shine of success is permanent. Vision keeps steady when the journey feels endless. Vision makes the grind meaningful. And when the shine finally comes, it will be so much sweeter because you know what it cost you. You'll appreciate it more because you remember the nights you cried, the mornings you fought exhaustion, the times you almost lost faith. The shine later isn't just about external rewards. It's about the internal pride of knowing you didn't give up when it was easier to quit. The shine later becomes part of who you are, a living testimony that hard work, discipline, and patience always pay off. Grind now, shine later. Grind now, shine later. Don't trade your future for temporary comfort. Don't exchange lifelong success for short-term pleasure. Don't let the desire for instant rob you of the greatness that only comes with time. Grind with everything you got today, even if nobody sees it, even if nobody claps for it, even if nobody believes in it. Because the day will come when your results light up the world, and then everyone will know that you were willing to do what others would. The grind is the price. The shine is the reward. Grind now, shine later. That's the formula for greatness. Every speech, every message, every truth I've shared with you comes down to one undeniable reality. Life rewards those who are willing to stay the course when everyone else gives up. The ending is not really an ending at all. It's a reminder that your journey is still ahead of you, that the work is not finished, that the decision to grind must be made every single day until you breathe success into reality. When we talk about working hard in silence, when we talk about grinding now so you can shine later, it's not just a nice idea. It's a way of living. It's a commitment you make to yourself that you will not let distractions, noise, or people who do not see your vision stop you from reaching your destiny. You don't need the approval of the crowd. You don't need applause for your effort. You need consistency, focus, and the courage to stay on the path even when it feels like nothing is working. The truth is, greatness was never meant to be easy. If it were easy, everyone would have it. But that's the beauty of the grind. It filters out those who aren't serious, those who only want to shine without the sacrifice. Every sleepless night, every early morning, every sacrifice you've made is not wasted. It is all part of the building blocks of your future. Your grind is not forgotten, even when no one sees it. Life keeps score, and when the time is right, it pays back everything you put into it, often multiplied. But you must be patient enough to let the process unfold. You cannot plant seeds today and expect a full harvest tomorrow. You must nurture them, protect them, water them, and let them grow in silence. When the season comes, the world will see what you've been building all along. Many of you are waiting for the spotlight before you start giving your best effort, but that's not how success works. You give your best in the shadows. You give your best when no one is clapping. You give your best when it seems pointless. Because that's where character is forged. That's where strength is built. That's where true resilience comes alive. If you can endure the grind in silence, you can endure anything life throws at you. If you can keep moving when you feel like nobody cares, then you've already proven that you have the heart of a champion. The conclusion to this message is simple but powerful. Your results will always speak louder than your words. Don't talk about what you're going to do. Don't brag about your plans. Execute them. Don't let your energy be drained by proving yourself to doubters. Let your success prove them wrong. There will come a day when you don't need to explain yourself, when you don't need to defend your choices, when you don't need to convince anyone. The work you've done in silence will be visible in the life you're living. People will see the shine and think it came out of nowhere. But you'll know the truth. You'll know it was earned in silence, in sweat, in sacrifice, in discipline. So when you feel tired, remember why you started. When you feel invisible, remind yourself that invisibility is your advantage right now. Nobody can distract what they don't see. Nobody can sabotage what they don't know. Silence is your shield. Use it. And when you feel like quitting, remember that the pain of the grind is temporary, but the pride of the shine is forever. The late nights won't last forever. The doubts won't last forever. The struggles won't last forever. But the rewards, the freedom, the respect, the fulfillment, those last a lifetime. Every story of greatness has chapters the world never reads. The behind-the-scenes moments, the struggles, the failures, the moments of doubt, those are all part of the story, even if they remain untold. Your story is being written right now in silence. And when the time comes, the world will only see the highlight reel. They'll only see the shine. But don't forget, you are living the most important part right now, and it matters. It matters because you are shaping your character, your habits, your discipline, your resilience. These are the things that will not only get you to success, but will keep you there when you finally arrive. So don't rush the process. Don't despise the grind. Don't resent the silence. Embrace it. Cherish it. Use it as fuel. Let every day be another brick laid in the foundation of your dreams. Let every sacrifice be another investment in your future. Let every moment of doubt be another reason to push harder. One day the silence will break, and your results will make all the noise you've ever wanted. One day you'll shine so bright that even those who never believed in you will be forced to see what you've become. And on that day, you won't need to say a word, because your life will say everything. Grind now, shine later. Work hard in silence. Let success be the loudest sound they ever hear from you. That is the path. That is the truth. That's how you ride.